Welcome back. This is another exciting episode of Mr. Takeda Teaches Math 7. And I'm pretty excited today because this is lesson 6.1 on percents and decimals. We're starting a new chapter, and this is a pretty exciting, it's a really useful, actually, topic. The essential question we're going to start with, how does the decimal point move when you rewrite a percent as a decimal and when you rewrite a decimal as a percent? Okay. Let's talk about these things here. Here's our key idea. Writing percents as decimals, so we're going for percent to decimals. Remove the percent symbol, and then divide by 100, or just move the decimal point 2 places to the left. Why is that? Because when we talk about percents, this is everything's compared to 100. When you're dealing with decimals, everything's compared to 1. So percents are 100 times bigger than decimals. Okay? So just keep that in mind here. So in this first example here, 23%, that means 23 compared to 100. But let's say we want to compare that to 1. Well, we have to make this 100 times smaller. So we're going to pretend there's a decimal point here. You don't really always see one, but there might be a decimal point that you see. And when we make it 100 times smaller, we move it 2 spaces to the left. I move it 1 place to the left, that's like dividing by 10. I move it 1 more space, that would be like dividing by 100. So my new answer is going to be 0.23, or sometimes we'll put the 0 in front of it, 0.23. All right, so there's our first kind of big example here. Let's go through some. Write 52% as a decimal. Okay, so you're going to want to write this down in your notes, right? Write 52% as a decimal. Now you can write this all out. You can do, doing this in your head eventually is going to be kind of second nature to you guys. Okay, I don't see a decimal point. It would be after the ones place, right? So I'm going to move it, divide by 10, divide by 100. So my answer would be 0.52. 7% as a decimal. Now, this little tip goes with this second question. When moving the decimal point, you may need to place 1 or more zeros in the number. So 7%, our decimal point would normally be after the ones place. 7 would be in our ones place. I'm going to move it 2 places to the left. 1. Now you're going to have to use a little imagination, right? There's our decimal. What do we put in that empty space there? We put a 0. Okay, because when we're dealing with decimals, we're filling in from the left to the right, so we need to put a 0 there. So 7%, 0.07. All righty, pretty easy, I think. You're going to try these two. Pause the video here. We're going to call these 1TA and 1TB. And you'll check your answers at the end. Well, you'll put them in. Check your answers at the end just to see that you're understanding this for me. Let's move on. When you're ready, join me on the next screen. That's for in class. Okay, so writing decimals as percent. So now we're going the other way. Maybe this might be easier to think of because, again, we're going from 1 to 100. Right? So everything's going to get, 100 times bigger here. And we're going to do the opposite. So 0.47. We're going to write this as a percent. Well, I need to multiply by 100. So I'm going to move my decimal point One space to the left, that would be multiplying by 10. One more space to the right would be multiplying by 100. That's what we want. So 0.47 equals 47. And then percent, right? 47. B, 0.663, 0.663. I need to think of this as multiplying by 100. I'm going to move my decimal point 2 spaces to the right. 1, 2. Look what happens in this case. It doesn't end up at the end. So this will be 66, and then the decimal, 0.3, and then the percent sign. 66.3%. Okay, letter C, 1.8. Write this as a percent. This is kind of like that last example from the from example 1, where if I move my decimal point all the way 2 spaces to the right, I'm going to run out of spaces, so I'm going to have to add a 0 in there. Here's what I mean: 1 space, 2 space. So I have to add that in there. All right. So 1.8 equals 180, 180%. Oh, look at this one, 0.009, 0.009. Again, I'm going to move my decimal point 2 spaces to the right. Now it's in front of the 9, so it's going to be 0.9%. Okay, so these are all really good examples. Get these into your notes, and you're going to try these two. Okay, try these two, see what you get, and we'll check them at the end. We're going to call these 2TA and 2TB. Okay, so pause the video if you need to, and then join me on the next screen. I think that's it. We're done. We're going to do this one in class. I think we're done. Let's see. Yeah, these other examples we're going to do in class. All right. So that's it. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you when I see you if you have your cameras on. Bye-bye.